So the streak is officially over. We had 8 green trading days in a row, racked up a nice profit over the last 2 weeks, but we ended up having a red day last night, and it was due to silly mistakes that, because I was getting a bit overconfident because I was having so many green days in a row, I started thinking I could get away with trading foolishly and doing some silly things and not sticking to rules. And what did it end up leading to? It ended up leading to a red day. So this is a very important lesson, I think, when it comes to teaching especially new traders, because it's something that I'd say most traders thought about doing and thought that it is a way that they cannot lose, but that is it's never the case. You can always lose. So I traded IHT last night. So in this area from market open to 950, I was basically buying and selling, just sort of scalping as it was coming up, and then trying to sell it on at its highs, and then as it dipped back down, buy it. Basically buying the dip, selling the rip, just like normal. I'll quickly talk to you about the daily candle as well. So the daily candles, as you can see, this 250 area was a previous resistance point back here on the 11th of July. So that was a point. It's like 250 is a very mentally strong resistance support point, because it's just that, you know, it's that number 250. It's a $0.50 at $2.50. Normally, if you get above that level, you'd be looking for a big spike. So I thought initially, if it got over this 250 area, it would have been pushing up near this 370, like the high. We had massive volume. Yeah, I thought all signs are pointing to this is going to go to 370 if it breaks the 250 area. Lucky I didn't, like, you know, buy everything with as much equity as I could, because it wouldn't have worked out well. But anyhow, so it ended up breaking this 250 area. But yeah, it broke it, and then it just dropped straight back down. It had a sharp sell-off, came back down. Anyhow, again, you know, went up and kept getting stuff at this 270 area. And so, as I was saying, that was my initial goal, was to go long over 250, looking for 370. It wasn't doing that, so I ended up turning to basically buying on the dip, selling in the rip, because it was staying in this channel very well. So after the first 20 minutes of buying dip, selling rip, I ended up being up $125. So I was, again, green. I was going for my 9th green trading day in a row, but overconfidence killed me. So as it was coming back down, I was buying the dip again. I was buying on this big red candle at around 239. I was like, yeah, look, last 20 minutes has been holding this 236 support line. It's going to hold again, should hold again. And it's just had this big volume back here on the upside, should be good. Well, I bought there, and then I saw it wasn't like climbing as quick as it had previously in the last 20 minutes. Like this 2 minutes, it went from 242 up to 260. Here it was 2 minutes, and it was struggling to move a lot. It only moved about 8 cents in 2 minutes, and the volume was starting to dip off again. And I was like, oh, okay, here we go, we're going to get stuck. I originally had my sell order for 250. I started bringing it down, and I had it at 246, where this solid candle is. And you wouldn't believe it, I had 300 shares. I filled one sell order. So I sold 1 share out of my 300 at that 246 level. Don't ask how I sold just 1 share, I've got no idea. But I sold 1 share at 246, which is what, $2.47 worth. So if my whole order filled there, I would have ended the day green, probably up $150, would have walked away, 9th green trading day. I only sold my 1 share, and then it started dipping back down. It had this candle which dropped below this support line. It dropped below. I was like, oh no, here we go. Like, legit, is that seriously how this day is going to go? So I had these 3 sharp candles. I'm like, no, I'm not going to sell here. It's dropped way too much. I think it's overextended on the downside now. So don't get me wrong, I'm expecting this stock to drop over time, because as you can see, it can't hold its highs. But I wasn't expecting it to have as sharp of a drop without a bit of a bounce. Well, I had these 3 big candles. I'm like, no, I'm not selling at the bottom of 3 big candles. I'm going to buy. I'm going to dip buy. So I added to my position there at 223. So basically when you average down, so I initially bought here at 238 and now I bought at 225. So now instead of, for me to break even, instead of having for the stock to get back up to 239, I only need it to get to about 230. So I was looking, yeah, that's why I dip bought it there, looking for about 230, maybe a little bit higher, sort of break even, maybe a little bit of a profit, because I was expecting at least a 10-15 cent bounce from the bottom because it had 3 big red candles. But basically, cut a long story short, it didn't have the bounce I was looking for. So yeah, I bought it 223. I think I was trying to sell around 233 at the support point here. Basically, I was looking to sell here, but it just didn't bounce enough, didn't get up to that point, and then it started dropping again. It had another big red candle, so I added more shares, added twice to average down my overall position again. So now I probably only had to get to about 220 before I broke even, because you know I'm getting a greater exposure to the stock. So yeah, my average price fell more, so the break-even point was lower, but again, it just didn't dip. And then once it broke the $2 point, you know what I say about $2, like full dollar support and resistance points, they're very reliable. And I thought once the $2 support broke, that was it. I thought, no, I can't keep averaging down. You don't know how low this is going to go. I could end up going down a lot more money if it doesn't have a bounce. So I had to just cut it. I ended up going down, I think, $240 or something. Yeah, real disappointing, because that's a beginner mistake doing that. Yeah, basically what I said. If it doesn't bounce enough, well, you just keep averaging down, but you'll end up having 4 or 5 times the amount of shares you would like to have. So then if it drops 10 cents, you're losing 4 or 5 times more than you'd want to if you just had your initial position. And that's where it came to. If instead of adding when it had this drop, if I covered my position there, I probably would have ended up maybe probably break even on the day, or maybe even still a little on the green, maybe like 20 bucks in the green or something. But yeah, you end up, because I was green on the day, I was like, nah, I can't go from having a green day to a red day. And that's where the emotional battle, you're always having an emotional battle with yourself, and it sounds real stupid, but you know, you have this pressure. You're like, oh, you know, I've just made $150. I can't lose that $150 in the next 10 minutes. And what ends up happening, I not only lost the $150 that I just made in the previous 20 minutes, but I then lost another $250. So trading, you can't ever be stubborn. If you like, I was stubborn last night. Being stubborn led to the loss. If I wasn't stubborn, I would have been able to walk away, break even on the day, maybe a $50 loss, maybe a $50 gain. But it wouldn't have been a $250 loss. But I got too stubborn, too overconfident, and that is basically why I went down last night. And I started thinking I could just trade whatever I wanted, even if I wasn't following rules, and you end up losing. So I'm going to try not to revenge trade tonight. There's a good chance you might revenge trade when you have a silly trade like this, which is when you just go in with too much size on a position where you shouldn't be. But we'll see how we go. I'll try to play it cool, calm and collected, and yeah, we'll see how we go. I'll look out to put another video, or probably Sunday, maybe Monday even, because I'm fairly busy this weekend. So yeah, have a great weekend, guys. Hope this is a good lesson for you beginner traders. It's a very good one, an important one to learn, because it'll stop you losing money, and the less money you lose, the longer you can keep practicing day trading and end up with profits. So yeah, like I said, have a great weekend, guys, and I will talk to you probably early next week. Alright, see ya.